the Shannons Nationals Round 9, brought to you by High Tech Oils. I'm here at Sandown Raceway, and today wraps up the 2012 Shannons Series. Today we've got the Touring Car Masters and the Australian Manufacturers Championship. So don't go anywhere, it's full throttle ahead.
Tony Karamfilowski is a popular figure in the TCM paddock, graduating from an Alfa Romeo to his current Ford Falcon GTHO V8.
This is 1971 XY GT. It runs a 351 Cleveland engine. It's probably producing somewhere in the vicinity of about 630 to 640 horsepower. It's got over 510, 15 foot-pound of torque. It's potent, it's very fast in a straight line. It's just going around the wiggly bits, which is a bit difficult with it. And, you know, around here there's a couple of slow corners, and the real trick is getting out of those quickly.
For next year, Tony has big plans, stepping up into the class's most dominant car, a Ford Mustang.
We've decided to go with a 351 Windsor engine rather than the 302 Boss. There was a number of, you know, different theories behind the reason why we went with the 351 rather than the 302. But I was talked into it by the engine builder, who knows better than me. So we've gone down that path. Yeah, it should be. It won't have as much power as this car, because the Clevelands make much more power than a Windsor motor does. But it will be a lot slipperier, yeah, and lighter.
So while Tony Karamfilowski looks forward to 2013, we've still got the final round of 2012 to get through. And race one was held earlier on this morning in overcast but still quite warm conditions. It was Bow and Medicki on the front row, but they both made slow starts. The second row, well, they gripped up very quickly, thank you very much. And Jim Richards and Brad Tilley, Javelin and GT Falcon respectively, fired down into the first corner. That's where the action started. Light contact between Tilley and Medicki fired the Libramax Camaro off, but that was the least of the drama at the start, when Tony Edwards' Tirana was tipped into a roll after contact with Keith Kasuki, bringing out the red flag. The damage was surprisingly minimal given the extent of the rollover, and Tony would return later in the weekend. But the race was restarted, and once again it was Jim Richards launching from the second row of the grid. He chased down Andrew Medicki while John Bow worked his way past Brad Tilley to take third place. A few laps later, this was the move for the lead, with Richards going down the inside at turn one, and then some dramas for Medicki put the Camaro off the side. Bow chased hard, but in the end couldn't quite get to race one winner, Jim Richards.
Yeah, no, the boys were a little bit willing down the field a little bit. They shouldn't probably be quite as aggressive in the first lap, but you know, things happen. I mean, you can have the briefings all you like, but I mean, when you get on the track, it's a different story.
And fantastic turnout, plenty of cars out there.
No, good turnout for the last round, that's for sure.
So cars rolling out for race two now. We've got a bit of a special guest in commentary for these two races remaining on the program. He probably doesn't really want to be here though. Bandit Clipper's favourite racing driver, Adam Bressington, is alongside me as we take a look at Sandown Motor Raceway. Adam, why are you in the commentary box and not in your race car?
Well, unfortunately, the Bandit Clipper's favourite racing Camaro has broken the gearbox in race one. We only did the half a lap before the red flag of that. So I'm privileged to join you for the next two races.
Well, it's nice to have you alongside me. I know you'd much prefer to be on the racetrack as we confirm the grid now. This is a reverse top 10 of what we saw the race one results, which means Brett Youlden is on pole position. The last time Brett Youlden started on pole position, he won the race, and that was at Phillip Island back in May this year, so he'll like it. We're underway. Chris Collins on the outside, so Holden and Ford on the front row in Touring Car Masters. What a great start for Tony Karamfilowski though. Round the outside and down towards turn one they go.
Yeah, that Falcon's got a Synergy race engine and it's got a lot of grunt. Nice start.
So down into the first corner. This is where all the drama occurred in race one. We saw Medicki firing off, and then a few corners later, Tony Edwards, who you can just see at the back of the field, rolling over, and that team has done a remarkable job to get the Tirana back on track.
Yeah, a la Peter Brock there at Bathurst, where they had to run out the front and the rear window.
And in a similar sort of livery too, which appeared on the car at Bathurst. And there's the usual TCM hip and shoulder just back in the pack coming out of turn 4. We're on board with Stillwell, Pro Sportsman champion-elect in his class, Adam.
Yeah, and he's chasing that new Mustang of Steve Mason.
So over the hill they go, and side by side, and John Bow dicing with Bill Pye and just forced out wide, so he shortcuts the S's. It's a wild bit of racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah, that is super fast through there, guys.
Nigel Benson down the inside of Steve Macarius, so the man who makes all the TCM's merchandise that you can buy at the tracks, making some moves. There's Greg Crick, the Mopar Charger, and this is a car that's got faster and faster as the season's gone on, Adam, and Cricky, I know, relishing the challenge of developing this Mopar right from where it was midway through the field.
Yeah, sure, it is. It's a great car, and he's really driving it very well.
So turn 1, there's Yulden, not the best of starts, and he's looking at being wrapped up by Brad Tilley and the Tirana. Well, they had to rush and rush and rush to get it out, and 18 consecutive race finishes for that car and Tony Edwards before this round. Unfortunately, that came to an end. Hopefully they can get it fixed for that final race. Gary O'Brien just at the front, so they'll be under yellow flags as they run past the kink. It's just on the outside, it's off the racing line. Shouldn't be too much of a problem there.
Yeah, no, they should continue to run those cars through there. I don't think there'll be any safety car for that.
Here's Karen Pawlowski, and past goes Paul Freestone. Only joined the category this year, and he has been hooked up this weekend. That Camaro fired past, and that's a bold place to make a move at Sandown too.
I reckon he had that set up really early.
So he is in the lead. The Chevy takes the race lead from the Ford, and Brad Tilley, who has just been awesome in the limited appearances he's done this year. Wow, more sideways, and Karen Pawlowski goes around. Big spin, and Richards, he can't get out the way. That's a huge crash.
Yep, that's a big impact there.
Oh, wow. The Javelin is badly damaged, and so too Tony Karamfalowski's Ford. Talk us through this.
Yeah, he's just gone on the power as the car's gone over the curb there, and he's gone right out. Oh, wow, that's big.
And Jim just had nowhere to go. He was unsighted behind a group of cars that all took evasive action. Here it is from Tony. So that started a few corners back, didn't it?
Yeah, and he's just been trying to get back onto the line, and the car's just, whoa, wow. That's a big hit.
And that shows that Jim just had no warning. I don't think there's anyone at fault there. Jim just was completely unsighted. And the Javelin, which he wasn't originally supposed to be driving this weekend, he was in the Falcon in practice and qualifying. Unfortunately, they had some mechanical dramas, so they benched that car and jumped back into the Javelin. And that is a real shame. We're back under racing. Fortunately, word through from the medical centre that both those drivers are okay. It shows how strong these cars are, and the safety enhancements that are in TCM nowadays just work so well.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful car, but I think there's a big rebuild coming.
Well, Jim is planning for a quiet off-season with 2 nice cars ready to go for next year. I think he might have to put any holiday plans on hold. Brad Tilley assumes the race lead. And Brad's a guy that's not done the full season, Adam, but this is a guy that any time he's in the category just sets to the light. He's so exciting to watch drive these cars.
He is the category when it comes to the Fords, I think, and he's a brilliant driver. He loves this car and this circuit.
Now, you only joined the series partway through this season. How have you found it? How have you enjoyed the racing?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's just an amazing category that, the camaraderie and the cars are so close, and they're just fantastic to drive. The Camaro I'm driving is, it's a previous series winner, and, we're just going from strength to strength with it.
So Bow right to the back of Brad Tilley, and he's got himself to second. So JB all but wrapped up the championship. It's basically locked away, but he won't celebrate until it becomes official. Is now chasing down Brad Tilley. Now, Brad won a race at Bathurst earlier this year, and if there's one thing that we know about this bright green GTHO Falcon, that in a straight line you are not going to overtake it. That thing is a rocket ship.
Yeah, it's got the best straight line handling out there, I reckon, and he should be proud of that, because that's one of his engines, and the car's a rocket.
They'll be battling for funds this year, but they've got some support. Cannon Trailers have been on board for a long time, and a couple of backers getting on just to keep Brad out there. Their other car, the 302 Ford Mustang that Cam Tilley's been driving, is for sale, but that's another really great car. Shows how good these guys are at building the race cars, not just driving them.
No, that's right, and they're really dedicated, and the family's been in racing for as long as I can remember, and they're a great bunch of guys.
So Bow unable to make any inroads. Kudos to Paul Freestone too. He's been doing a great job. He's jumped out of GT racing in a Chevy Corvette, so he's kept the same brand. He's just gone back about 35 years.
Yeah, and just a little bit less, the handling, probably not quite as sharp as the Corvette.
More horsepower though, ironically.
I'd say so, yeah, but he's doing a fantastic job hanging on there.
Oh, and Brett Yilton off at Dandenong Road, just on the exit, runs it through the gravel, and Chris Stillwell will wrap him up. So Chris has had a really good season in the 64 Ford, just a little bit wide. That's because Brett Yilton's still there.
Yeah, he's got nowhere to go. If the car's next to you, you can't move over on him.
And Brett quite literally runs this car from his garage at home. Apologises to the wife profusely, and that's where that bright green 350 Chevy powered Holden Monaro lives. Down the straight, and one of the GT Falcons just going past in that great battle. But Chris Stillwell, the Pro Sportsman winner, so 2 classes in TCM. And Chris Stillwell looking to wrap that up. This is the battle for the lead. Freestone's still there, by the by, still hanging on in 3rd. Bill Pye 4th. Chris Collins up to 5th place. So he's going really well in the 4-door XP Falcon. Then back to Greg Crick, and then Tony Karamfalowski, Keith Kasulki it is, in the XB 2-door Falcon. Of course, Karamfalowski in that crash earlier today.
And this is where Brad, that was a big run-off.
We spoke too soon for Freestone, didn't we? Big brake lock-up.
Yeah, no, he's really charging, and keeping up with those guys is a pretty good effort, but I think he might have, red flag there.
Now this is why we've had a big crash, and anytime you see a car parked on the side of the road, on the run down to Dandenong Road, you know it's been a big one. I think that was Chris Collins and maybe Greg Crick. So this is perhaps where it started. I wonder if he dropped some oil down there.
There could be something, there might be something. Wow, that car's been over, I'd say. Yeah,
that's a big crash. So Chris is out of the car. You can see him jumping into the race safe medical car now. The red flag is out. The race will be called. And wow, it's been a wild day at Sandown so far. So much stuff has been going on. However, it hands the win to Brad Tilley. A great drive, and gets his 2nd win of the year. John Bow 2nd, Freestone 9th, O'Brien in the Pro Sportsman class in 10th place. The end of a wild one. Set for the final race of the season. 24 races we've had this year, more than 220 laps and about 800 kilometres of racing. Adam Bressington, I know you'd much rather be out there for this final race of the year, but it all comes down to this. John Bow looking for a big win. Meadie coming from the back of the field, so he's going to be one to watch as we confirm the grid for you.
Well, he's going to have the benefit of having some fresh tyres for not doing those 2 other races, but I'm not sure if I want to be out there after what I've seen in the first 2 races.
It's been wild. I hope we see a drama-free race this time. Just good, hard TCM racing is what we love, and we're underway. Looked like a good start from Brad Tilley. This is a little bit further back. Chris Stillwell working his way forward. That Falcon in a straight line is just irrepressible, isn't it? Yeah. It is great fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe switching to Fords next year myself.
I wonder if the Tilleys will build you a Chevy engine for the Camaro for next season.
Oh, I could ask them.
So down into turn 2 they go. Great to see Chris Collins back out there in the XB. So after that big crash in race 2 that stopped that race, he is A-OK in that car, patched up. Phil and the team will have got that car back out there. Battle a little bit further back. Michael Armand in the 26 Porsche. Yep. Chris Stillwell in the Mustang.
Yeah, nice, tight, close racing at the rear as always.
And Tony Edwards once again, windowless. And you mentioned off there that someone's managed to cram a full face helmet on him. He doesn't like wearing the full face helmet too much.
I don't think I would have been want to be around for that sight.
So down to Dandenong Road, and Brad Tilley, as we saw in race 2, is in front, but Bow is really working that bright green GT Ford over.
Yeah, he's quick in the corners, but once again that Falcon has got some straight line speed.
And Brad knows exactly where to put the car too. And just a little bit of contact between the 2 of them. But Tilley gets a good run out of the corner, and Bow will get wrapped up by Bill Pye, who goes through. And Tilley holds on in front. This is good stuff. This is a challenge for JB.
Yeah, I think JP, he might have just snookered himself on that move. Sometimes the slow run out of the corners, and that kills your straight line.
Maranello Motorsport, who look after John Bow's Ferrari, looking after that car for the first time. So it's been a Dick Savvy prepared entry for a long, long time. A change of outfit for this weekend. Dick's still very heavily involved in TCM though, with Keith Kasuki's cars amongst others. But a change of outfit, and Bow just back in third place now.
Yeah, no, those guys look like they've got a handle on that car straight out of the box, so it's looking good.
You'd think if you could get a temperamental Italian GT Ferrari right, you'd be okay with a Ford Mustang, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I reckon it'd be easy.
So over the hill they go, and Bow just dropping back a little bit. And there's Miedeke carving his way through. So you mentioned the new tyres. He was out very early in race 1 this morning, didn't do race 2 because they were changing an engine. So his Hoosier tyres are going to be very, very good compared to everyone around
Oh,
him.
yeah, well, you one race on those and they start to go, and that's the beauty of the category. Everyone starts to slipping and sliding as you go on, so he's got some great tyres under him.
There's Bill Pike, the man from Canamble in regional New South Wales. He's a farmer, travels into every round. I know he's got his own plane and flies to a lot of them too, but he loves driving this Camaro and has had some pretty good results over the last couple of seasons too. The Camaro is a really good product, isn't it? It's a great car.
It's probably the best overall package, I reckon, to a degree, and he's driving very well this weekend.
So there's a lot of race tape on a lot of race cars this weekend, and some of them, worryingly enough, are for sale, so they might have to go and have some work done before they get put on the showroom floor for season 2013.
Yeah, there could be some rude offers out there on them, I reckon.
There might be, yeah. I know Karen Filowski's Ford was for sale because he's got a Boss Mustang coming for next season, so he's pretty keen to move that car on to fund the build of the new one. This is a replay looking a little bit further back. Chris Stillwell and Mark King in the 85 King Springs White Line Transport 1970 Camaro goes through.
And there goes Tony on Chris here into turn 1.
So Chris is in the thick of it so far this race, but he's just cruising around trying to get his class title wrapped up, which would be a great result for a man who's been involved in this series since day 1.
Yep, and he does a great job to help the weight in the series, and he's an excellent runner in the category.
So Miedeke gets another one alongside Keith Kasuki in that big 5.8 litre Ford. Keith's done a tremendous job this year, a lot of speed, travels down from Papua New Guinea for every round. It's a massive commitment, but he's got the family here. He's probably lucky he's sponsored by Air New Guinea. Good deal to have, but he's so passionate about this category, and he's still got that blue 350 HQ as well that he's run a couple of times this year, and Les Walmsley actually drove that at a couple of rounds and did an outstanding job.
No,
so Kasuki right in the mix.
No, it's a beautiful car. That's the Jim Morton built car, and it's still going as strong as ever.
In fact, a couple of Fords running line astern there that are both Bathurst winners. Glenn Seaton won at Bathurst in the car that you're talking about, Adam, and Chris Collins, XB, behind it was race winner at Bathurst with Leanne Tander 2 years ago. So two pretty successful Fords on Sunday at the Mountain.
Yeah, and I think they've got a pretty good run up there.
It must have been wild to race there in one of these cars.
Oh, yeah, look, it's a fantastic circuit, but then you go there in one of these and it's you can double your excitement, I can tell you.
We've had some great memories as a category there as we look at this battle of the Porsches a little bit further back. Miedeke picks off John Bow. So these two old rivals from touring cars throughout the 80s and 90s continue to swap positions, and Miedeke charging his way forward. Greg Crick will be his next rival.
It looks like Andrew's got plenty of speed there, and that's all down to the tyres. I mean, he's just putting that car where he wants it.
Well, that's textbook stuff too, isn't it? The old switchback at the final corner at Sandown.
Yep, no, I think a few people made that move over the years.
So he's through, and there's Greg Crick. So Cricky will be back next year. He's basically confirmed that he'll be back with another season in the Charger, and he jumped into it halfway through this year. And you get the impression that the man from Launceston's really enjoyed developing that car and tuning it to make it go quickly. I know they've been introducing new bits in every round just to get it towards the front of the field, and it's working. That thing's becoming something of a rocket ship in TCM.
Well, he's probably got one of the greatest gurus in Australian motorsport helping him with Les Smalls, and they're doing a fantastic job getting that car up to speed.
Chris Stillwell dicing with the two Porsches. Michael Armand in the Toshiba Copywold car, and Greg Keane on the outside.
Whoa.
Amanda Sparks is just behind this battle as well. That was pretty wild, the two Porsches side by side.
I don't know, was there any team orders there or not?
If there's one thing I've learnt from watching the Porsches in TCM, no, never any team orders amongst them, especially when Amanda's racing Greg. Husband and wife, remember? They have some amazing battles on the racetrack. In fact, those two have just come back from a vacation to Abu Dhabi where they watched the Formula One race, and apparently that fired them both up for this final round of Touring Car Masters.
Yeah, well, that's a great holiday, especially when you're into motorsport and you guys want to just go and see an awesome event like that.
So Chris Stillwell, some great pictures from the Ford. So this runs in the Pro Sportsman class, second of two in TCM. That's Brett Yulden just up in front in the Mother's HQ.
There he is, running wide.
Yeah, and just a little bit too hot under brakes. Turn one, Adam, at this place, it's deceptively fast, isn't it? It's a quick corner.
I think there's a big magnet on that outside fence there that sucks a lot of people in.
Well, here we go again. The fastest car in a straight line against the car with the best tyres and a fresh engine in this race at least. Miedeke now right to the back of Brad Tilley, and Tilley holding on.
The Bob Middleton boys did an awesome job to get that engine back in the car for the last race.
They're so passionate, Bob and Sharon Middleton, and that great team they've put together. And Andrew just sort of says, well, I'll drive there for life, because they're great friends, they're family basically, and they have a great relationship as we start the final lap. Down to one, Miedeke close.
Yep.
Tilley holding on. Oh, he's having a look too. Oh, Tilley off. He's run wide. Too far, and he spins it out. Was there contact between the two?
Wow, that was close. I just reckon Brad might have just locked the rears end going into there, and that's an easy thing to do in that corner.
Well, he was on the absolute ragged edge, wasn't he? And you could see that in the way he was driving the car, as John Bauer gives Bill Pye just a little love tap out of turn 4.
I don't know about the love bit.
Okay, just gives him a tap out of turn 4 and lives to fight another day. So Brad Tilley, well, there's nothing on the front of the Camaro that would indicate any sort of contact. So I think you're right. I think he just went in there too hot. And Miedeke last to first. How about this for a drive?
Wow, fantastic. He's look, yeah, the tyres do help, but you know he has got ability. Don't worry about that, and we know that.
Yeah, he's been so good in this category for so long. And look who's second, Greg Crick. So that Charger, through all of this, is up into second place and is going to get a podium. That car is going to be super strong next year. Well, the final race of TCM has been a little bit more tame compared to 1 and 2, but it's still been a great weekend, and it's Miedeke who goes from last to first to take race 3 at Sandown. 3 winners from 3 races, and that just sums up the Touring Car Masters season. It has been an absolutely wild one. Here's the results very quickly, your wrap-up of that one. Great win for Andrew.
Oh yeah, no, fantastic drive, and Greg has done an awesome job, and you know, I'm very happy for those guys.
It's always good to obviously win a series that's hotly contested, and it's been a great year for my sponsors, myself, you know, the people that support me is terrific, and obviously I couldn't do it without them, and they all know who they are. But I think the best thing about the whole Touring Car Masters series is the camaraderie between the drivers. There's serious contest out there, as you see, and yet, you know, we all have a joke later, pat each other on the back. It's good fun.
It's been a hard-fought battle all year. I've had 2 cars really close to me all year. About 3/4 of the way through the season, we tore the front of the car off at Muscle Car Masters and thought it was done, but guys got it back together again, rolled it out at the previous round at Sandown, not this one, and we were second quicker than what we were last year. So fantastic win.
It's been a great season of improvement for Chris Stillwell. There's the happy round podium and the Champions Awards as well. JB, the overall series winner, he loves it, back to back for him, and Chris Stillwell, the Pro Sportsman winner. John Bauer loving life, as always, as a 2-time Touring Car Masters champion. And that's the points margin in the end over Jim Richards and Andrew Miedeke, with Tony Edwards an excellent 4th, finishing all but 2 of the races this year, with Keith Kasulki in 5th place. And that's the Class A points. Class B, Chris Stillwell just edged out a great season from Nigel Benson, with Amanda Sparks 3rd and 1st of the Porsches. 48 points in front of husband Greg Keane. Well, that's it for the Touring Car Masters at the Shannons Nationals, but when we come back, it's the final round of the Australian Manufacturers Championship.